Yeah, I find it really funny that a lot of people find business really boring. But the thing that actually got me attracted to business in the first place is that it was relatively orderly relative to everything that goes on in the world that didn't quite make a lot of sense to me. And I like this sort of rationality of the business world where a lot of things, at least on the surface, are about making some sort of ordered approach and that there is some sort of sense to things in terms of how you might actually accomplish things. And I like that a lot. I like the general idea that there's a sensibility to the world. But, you know, the thing that I find interesting, and it's almost counterintuitive, because when you start getting into it, you realize that there's not a lot of sensibility, but there's more sensibility. There's more organized ways of doing things than much of what everybody else is doing in other areas of their life, where it just doesn't quite make the same sort of sense, like things like politics or, sports and, um, you know, other aspects of our life that are very important to us, that they make sense on the surface. But the sort of bigger thing of it is that they actually are not that orderly. So for me to understand the world and to make sense of it, I was attracted to business and the understanding of business right from the get-go, because it was the one part in the newspaper that I could read and be like, oh, I kind of understand. Not really when I first started getting into it, but there's a sense of orderliness to it, neatness that was with it. It just didn't quite exist in the other areas of life. That you can add things up. That there was kind of um, a there is arithmetic or sort of mathematics to understanding how the business world actually works. And, what's really fascinating is, the more I study it, the more I realize, it doesn't quite work that way. It's very messy, but it's better than the rest of the world. So I often think about, what does that say about humanity? What does that say about what we're going to accomplish and do? I think we need to come back to a basis of this sort of sensibleness, where that there are things that we can agree upon and have a common understanding. I think in general, many of us are sort of straying in different directions. And I think the more people that you talk to, we want to have a bit of a more sensibility to the world where things are orderly. And I'm not saying having a general business framework or something like that and how to actually get things done, but I'm just suggesting that orderliness, for some of us, sort of the patterns of how things actually get done, for some of us, is pleasurable because we can make sense of the world. And when we see it, we don't just see things like arguing back and forth, nobody really getting anywhere. That was always the reason that many years ago that attracted me to business, is that, there was a sense of progress being made. And I think coming back to that, where we have more of a sense of progress, where we really understand what we're talking about, and where we tackle bigger issues, we sort of set one thing aside and then we tackle the bigger issue to come together and to organize and to make sense of the world. I think we can still get there often, with how we with how things are going. but it may require a concerted effort by many people to agree upon how do we open up discussions where we could just have discussions about how to do a little bit better every day. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.